Game started.
Now here's a game, Big Chess from China. Let's start with e4. c5. Okay, we'll get a Sicilian. And the knight c6 Sicilian could be any number of moves from here. It could go with the e6, d6, or the knight right away, or e5. Plays e5 now, it's a Sveshnikov. If he plays d6, this is just another way to get to the classical Sicilian. Well, let's play bishop g5. That's the most the most testing move against the classical. And then maybe go with the queenside castling plan. Have to be careful. If I go here, he can take this knight, take the pawn. I can take back, defend. If he had a, well, let's go here first and see if he wants to play bishop e7. He does. Okay, so now is he threatening to take? He takes, I take, he takes the bishop, I take. Takes, I take. I've still got it covered between the knight taking back on e, the knight taking back on e4, and the queen seem to have that covered. So let's castle then. That means I have time to castle. And then play f4. So don't lose that bishop. To some surprise attack. So now, if I drop back, then he really does have knight takes e5 because my bishop is loose there. Knight takes e4 rather. So let's take the knight. And now is he threatening to take my knight? Knight takes. Yeah, he is, because I'm defending it with a queen. So I can drop the knight back. He covered the b5 square just in time. Otherwise, I might have had knight b5 going after the d-pawn. The d-pawn, I am attacking it, but he's attacking my knight here. So it's complicated. And he hasn't castled yet. Interesting position. And castles now. So he lets me grab the pawn, but then he will take here, I guess. Maybe he brings the queen out first. Okay, I'm going to move my king one step over and make it a little more safe. Get it off the c file, protect the a pawn. Maybe put a rook on the e file and play e5 to shut out that bishop is an idea. 5 now, we can just take it. Other ideas might be how about g4 to g5 and just sacrifice on g5, to sacrifice the pawn there. Oh, actually, I've got the, I do have the knight defending g5, so maybe that is safe. Okay, I got g5 in. And let's take back. The queen was defending g5 too. So that knight, that bishop has to go off this diagonal, which is, I think, a good thing for me because it was always threatening to take this knight on c3 and leave me weakened on the c file or disrupted on the king side. Yeah, so he drops back. So can't I just push the h-pawn through now? And just get a classical h-pawn attack going? H-file attack? H4 to h5, h5 to h6. He doesn't have to take, though. He pushes. I can push once more. His king can tuck itself away in the corner. Well, I can go to h5 at least. Maybe h5 followed by g6. Okay, so he busts open the center. Not a bad idea. With my queen opposite his rook here. He takes with the pawn. Okay, I want to blockade here, I think. Let's see. I also have to worry about him activating his bishop, don't I? His light squared bishop. Okay, so he takes that off. And yeah, he can play bishop to bishop c5 or bishop b4. Bishop b4, I take it. Okay, so where do I want the queen to go? Yeah, he's got the light squares covered here. So I'm going to have to drop back. The question is, where does my knight go after I do that? Guess the knight can still go to e4 if he plays d4. So he just defends it. Okay. One step forward with the pawns. Maybe bishop d3 at some point. Now he goes there. Okay. Yeah, so he's looking at a2 there, but it's defended by the king. And this knight is safe there for the moment, but he can pin it against the rook. I can defend it. Okay, but he decided to drop back. I want to move that knight again, I guess. Let's see, but what happens here if I play h6? Threatening to open up this file here. If he pushes, now I have knight to f6. If he takes, I can take back with the rook. If he attacks my knight, I can defend it with the bishop. And then I have knight f6 check with an attack on his bishop. After I clear the pawn on g7, the pawn that's defending f6. This bishop here, it's weird that it's on its back, its original square, but it's actually defending d3. But I may want to play b7. Ah, so he goes there. Still, I want to open this up. And now, what do I do? The queen is guarding h2. So queen h2 is what I really want to play, but the queen is guarding that. Queen can come out to, I'm not sure which square. Let's see. Maybe now I can lift my bishop somewhere. Maybe bishop here. I'm expecting that he's just going to oppose rooks on the h-file. And I really don't have a good way of continuing the h-file attack after that. But maybe I can bring my queen to f2 and into f6, something like that. With the knight behind it, this might be pretty good. And with my bishop blockading this pawn. Yeah, so now I have knight here. Or not. it's not a check anymore. Let's see, I could sack the rook maybe. Is that an idea? No, he takes with the bishop. Okay, I do not want to dislodge that knight, so let's move the queen, and now that will allow him to pin. Let's defend it with the rook. I want to be able to take back with the rook there. Maybe, that was dumb, huh? Okay, can I play c3? I totally overlooked that. So c3, pawn takes is not possible.
Server announcement.
Well, darn. Okay, let's attack his bishop. So if he takes my rook, I will take his bishop. If he takes my knight, I will take with the rook. So maybe it's still okay, because bishop takes rook, queen takes bishop looks very dangerous. So maybe this is a good way to escape this this attack that he's got. A good way to escape the skewer. Best defense is a good offense, like they say. He could still change his mind and go back to opposing on the H-file. I decided to go for that. Okay, well, we'll see if this works. See if this works for him. I'm threatening to take his bishop, and I'm threatening a pretty nasty check here on h7. And I have the knight coming into f6. And he can't block. I mean, I have a weak back rank, but he has nothing immediately threatening to come to the back rank. Let's see, so rook here, check. Yeah, so that sets up something to the back rank. Rook here, check. King goes to the back rank. And knight here, check if he goes to g1, so I guess he goes to f1. So rook here, check, king f1, queen here, mate. Rook here, check, king g1, knight here, check, king f1. Then I can check on the back rank. King comes to f2, or what is that? That is e7. The king. I can drive the king out to e7. Knight's here. Has he got it all defended? I can move the knight with tempo. Let's try this.
Check.
After this check, okay, so what's my time? I have 2 minutes. After this check, he has to go here. If I push the pawn forward right away, his queen can come over and defend. Yeah, so this is the right next move. I was realizing there's an additional idea here, which is pawn to g6, threatening rook f7 mate. The rook there defended by the pawn. So he has to take. So pawn g6, pawn takes, queen takes. It's his move, and I'm threatening mate on the back rank. And I don't really see how he defends against it. And I'm still not yet getting mated on my back rank. So if I can keep making these mating threats, He could defend the pawn, maybe. Maybe that's the way to do it. But how does he defend? He can't defend with the rook. I'll just take it. He could defend with the queen. Ah, he runs with the king. Okay, so rook takes pawn, check. Where is he going? He's going to d6. And I have a queen check on this diagonal.
Check.
And so after the queen check on the diagonal, where is he going to? He can come back. Gets complicated. There's knight checks too. Knight check here. He can't run away. Ah, isn't that mate? Knight here, and the king has no moves. Knight is taking away those squares. Queen's covering here, rook's covering here.
Check.
Yeah, when your king is out in the middle of the board and your enemy's pieces are all active. So he has to give up the queen here to avoid mate. So this should actually win the game for me, which is good. Yes, I was on a terrible losing streak, and this was it's nice to get a good game in. The dangers of the Sicilian. Okay, let's just take with the queen. I think that's simplest. Hold on to everything. Keep the bishop in front of the pawn, blockading it. I mean, maybe there's a mate there, but I'm just going to win by force of material now, right? Ha, aha, or maybe not. Okay, so I can move the queen with check.
Check.
And let's see, let's go back to mating him. If he wants to keep fighting, let's see if I can mate him. He can't really escape. Here, here, and here. So I could play the bishop here, check. Can't go forward. He can go here, and I could start bringing some pawns forward to check.
Check.
Let's see if he wants to give up a rook. He goes to b5. I have a4 check, and then when he goes there, I have yeah, everything is covered. So after the check, he has to go to a5, and then I have the queen check here. He can bring a pawn. he can block with the pawn. Let's see. Maybe rook check is better then. Rook check. This is all covered. Can't come here, here, or here. Okay.
Check.
It's getting low on time. But if I can mate him, then it's all okay.
Check.
Bishop takes, queen takes his mate. King here, bishop here, check. Queen here, check. Eventually, there should be a mate here. 25 seconds left.
Check.
So let's move quickly. And not lose the queen. I'm thinking queen d3 here is mate.
Check.
He can still block with the bishop. But after queen takes bishop, it's mate. And 29 seconds to spare. Good example of a king hunt. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And oh, it says here that big chess, that was his 6th Blitz game. So his rating is still provisional here. Anyway, I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.